I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Hiroki. Oh, that's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
You come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. You here to make war? We surrender. Falsehood. The important thing is I'm leading you people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework planet. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. That means you're going to make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Bird O' Prey 5 channel. Hail Karoga.
Hello world, it's Bird O' Prey 5, Qapla, and welcome to Deep Space Nine Wednesday for April 14th, 2021. Today we are watching Deep Space Nine, Season 5, Episode 4, The Assignment, and this is the episode where Keiko comes back from a work trip to Bajor, and only to find out that it's not quite Keiko. Keiko has been taken over by a Pah-wraith and is ordering Miles to go around and do various changes to the station, which seem pretty mundane to him. But if he refuses to do them or attempts to tell anybody about her, she promises she will not only kill Keiko instantly, but could also hurt Molly. So he's pretty much forced to do what she says to do. And yes, this is a very Keiko heavy episode. And honestly, I don't think it's a bad episode, all in all. But we'll watch it. We'll watch it again. But I do want to say that next week is a very special day. Yes, it's April 21st. It is a birthday for one of our fellow people, one of our fellow group members. But beyond that, next week on DS9 Wednesday is Trials and Tribulations, which is, to me, the very best Star Trek episode ever created in any franchise. I didn't know what I could do to make it any more special, but I will tell you what I've decided to do is next week, and next week alone, for Trials and Tribulations, here on Deep Space Nine Wednesday, if you watch it with us in the screening room next week, I am going to play the HD version of the episode. And you're like, how? What? HD? Yes. A fan-made HD up-conversion of all of Star Trek Deep Space Nine is available on certain places on the internet, if you know where to get it. Now, if you own your own copy of Deep Space Nine, like I do, I don't feel any qualms about using a fan-made HD upgrade, but I had to tell you that the HD quality of this is pretty dang good, and we will be watching it in its full. I believe it's 960p quality next week for Trials and Tribulations. Yes, it's going to use a lot more bandwidth than the standard Deep Space Nine episode, but I think for that particular episode, it will be well worth it, and I hope to see you guys there. It will be a special stream. My favorite episode of all Trek next week. But this week, the assignment. So Josh Street was first in the chat and says, "Where's Bird of Prey?" The stream says waiting on Bird of Prey to start the stream. Yes, but it also should have said starting in 4 hours. Yes, I'm an hour later than usual these days. 5 p.m. Eastern we started. Couldn't be helped. Prior engagement. Josh Street says, Bird will Prey 5 of Kuroga, strong as he can be. Watch out for that Jeep. Bird will Prey 5 of Kuroga, live streaming. Life that's free. Watch out for that Jeep. When he gets in a scrape, he makes his own escape with the help of his friend, an orphan named Orphan. Then away he'll saunter on his beagle Sassy, while Sisso Prey and Mamo Prey stay in step with Birdo Prey 5 of Kuroga, friend to you and me. Watch out for that Jeep. Watch out for that Jeep. Thank you, Josh Street. The Random Menace says he said 4, now he wants to go live at 5. Bird is late. I said 4 yesterday, but when I put it up today, I put it up with 5. Dan23 says later video, I see yes. John Street says now Bird of Prey said on Anti-Tracker he wasn't going live to start until 10 p.m. No, I didn't say 10 p.m. Eastern. Agnes says holy lateness, Batman. And then I explained that it would be starting in about an hour. Dave G. Sounds said, hail Kuroga, Dave G. The Catman, a.k.a. D.D. Myers, says, hail Kuroga, D.D. Myers, and hail to you. Dave G. Sound hails to D.D. Kronos says first, Qapla, Kronos, though not first. 47 Yorktown says Sassy / the Tree of Oppression, 2024. That could make a good team. John Street says too late, Bird of Prey, you're always late. I think you meant TOO late. John Araki says scheduled for 5 p.m. late. No. And John Araki also wants vagina. Kronos says vagina should lose. Sound, says Kronos. I don't know why you say sound. Should lose sound. Kronos says perhaps even a bit whorish. John Araki says Dr. Alex is add Discovery Season 2 to my shopping cart. No. Kronos says bad, Alex, bad. Kronos says dodo. Kronos says wait, John Araki, how is he doing that? Kronos says you have really bad passwords apparently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like my luggage. And Kronos says, Bird of Prey, I'm coming over with a chainsaw to free you from the tree of oppression. Pain. I don't need to be free from the tree. The tree is happy outside where it is. John Street says, Kronos knows your luggage combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, that's the combination to Kuroga's planetary shields. I'm going to change the passwords now. Kronos says, oh great, now everybody can pew pew pew, birds flying. Yep. Professor Brainy Specs says, Bird is way late, Qapla Professor. John Street says, Professor Brainy Specs. When is Bird of Prey ever on time? And Kronos says, Bird is late, congratulations. Vincent Gallipo, Qapla Vincent. Carlo Albanese says hi and hope everyone's as well as can be. Thank you, Carlo. Hope you are well. Carlo says, praise the soup at Jedi Bill. Enjoy a good brew, Captain Trek. And as always, hail Karoga. Thank you, Carlo. As Kronos says, does she never age? Oh, Nicole. Well, not on my video. The Random Menace is greetings from the future. Greetings, Random Menace. Qapla. Vincent Gallipo says hi to Kronos. People are saying hi to each other. What HD? Wow. Yes. Next week, Tribbles and HD. Chrono. Yes. HD Tribbles. HD Dax. HD Dax in the TOS uniform. Right? Command wear gold and ops wore red and women wore less. The famous scene. Carlos says, remember to leave a dear bop on the way to the screening room. No, there's no reason to leave a dear bop unless you need to. Carlos says, thanks for letting us chill out on the couch for DS9 Wednesday. I brought pizza for everyone, and I'll clean up when I leave so Mama Pray doesn't have to. Thank you, Carlo. Welcome, Dan23. Question of Tracks is just dropping by quickly to give my best. Sadly, it's late and I have to go to bed. Live long and prosper. Have fun, everyone. All the best. Qapla. Question of Track. I see you trying to start some trouble on Twitter between me and Lore Reloaded. I am not scared of Lore Reloaded. I will face him anytime, anywhere. Karoga has no fear. And Kronos says later to Question of Track. And Dan gives a thumbs up to Kronos. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 4, Season 5, Episode 5, The Assignment. Originally released October 28, 1996. Way back. But hail on Karoga. This is John DeMarco. Qapla, John DeMarco. Dee Dee Myers is Bird of Prey. How are you and the family doing? We're doing good, Dee Dee. Thank you for asking. So we're going to head on over to the screening room. The address is http ://birdofprey5.com/sr. The address is at the bottom of the YouTube video. You can type that in and go there. If you leave one tab open on YouTube, and leave one tab open on YouTube, and you can watch DS9 in the other tab. Also, if you have your own copy of the episode, or on DVD, or you have access to Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, Netflix, or Paramount Plus, Deep Space Nine is available at all those places. You can watch your own copy there. But if you want to watch this copy, you just head over to the screening room. You don't need a lot of tab. No, you don't. You can adjust it. You can adjust the volume in the screening room, but that's the only adjustment you can make in the screening room. Otherwise, I control the video in the screening room. So head on over to the screening room if you haven't already. I will count down and then I'll hit play. If you're not watching, if you can't watch in the screening room and you don't have your own copy, then in YouTube, you'll get a screenshot every 10 seconds or so. So you have some idea what's going on in the episode, and I'll try to give a play-by-play of what's going on as well. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, loading up the episode. And it's loaded and it's playing. And Quark says there's nothing more invigorating than breakfast in a bar to mourn. I don't know if I believe that. And Carlo donated $2. Thank you, Carlo, and got happy baby. Said doo 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 doo. Hail on Karoga. So Ram doesn't want his usual breakfast. Quark made it for him. He wants 2 eggs over easy, 3 strips of bacon, and some type of hash. It's Chief O'Brien's breakfast of choice, says Ram. Quark says that's the problem working with humans. You just pick up their disgusting habits. Bacon, corned beef hash. He's like, what's next, Ram? Orange juice? Coffee? Ram says that might be nice. Carlos says it's a fake. It's a fake. That wasn't you? He gets up early to work on the waste extraction system. Ram says it's important. Imagine where we'd be without it. Quark says, of course it's important, but you're not getting the choice assignments. O'Brien's got him on the night shift, doing all the work no one else wants to do. Ram says he likes his work. Quark says, do you like staying up all night long, knee-deep in waste, fixing a broken flow regulator? When you could be here staring at half-naked Dabo girls? Yes. He has a good job, says Ram. He's proud of the work he does. And he knows one day Chief O'Brien will recognize his efforts and reward him with a position of respect and responsibility. And why? Because that's the way things are. Quark says he's sorry he brought it up as he lays that human breakfast of bacon and eggs and corned beef hash in front of Ram. And it looks delicious. Oh, the breakfast is a fake. Kronos says it could use some steak. Oh. So now O'Brien and Bashir are talking about the dead plants, dead trees that Keiko are coming home to. Molly says Mommy's going to be mad. Bashir overwatered the plants. And she's only been gone 5 days and we killed her plants. They're bonsai trees. She cared them and nurtured them and carefully sculpted them for months or years. Molly is saying, you're in trouble. They killed her plants in 5 days. And Miles says, Molly, both of us should go to the airlock and tell and welcome Mommy back. And after we hug and kiss, you can tell her what happened. And then Molly says, not me. And then O'Brien looks at Bashir and he says, well, don't look at me. And we find out it's O'Brien's birthday today. On top of everything, it's O'Brien's birthday. And yet he's got to get a gift for Keiko. It's like, I've seen you handle your wife thousands of times. Just say you're sorry and you take full responsibility. You'll be fine. And Bashir says he's got to be in surgery. He's operating. O'Brien says, on who? And Bashir says he'll find somebody. And Molly goes into her room because she knows this is not going to end well. Oh, so Kate goes back, and they have a great view of the wormhole in their quarters. It just opened. She's eating the chocolates. He's saying how it was Bashir who overwatered the tree. And Keiko's like, forget it, Miles, it's just plants. It's like, it's not like something happened to Molly or the baby. So O'Brien's like, you're right, everybody's fine, no problems. She's like, what about Kira? Is she back yet? No, she's still with Shakar. And he said, I thought you were going to visit them. Keiko didn't get a chance. How are the fire caves? She says, fine. Now Keiko has some news to tell Miles. I'm not Keiko. Oh, Brian thinks that this is just some type of game. Oh, who are you? He says. She's like, listen carefully, Miles. I've taken possession of your wife's body. I will hold it hostage until you do everything I tell you, accurately and without question. And Miles still thinks this is a joke. He says, if you don't do everything precisely as I asked, you'll kill your wife. And he says, are you all right? It's like, maybe you've got some type of Fratellian brain fever. She's like, I see I have to do a demonstration of my sincerity. And, oh no, Keiko is getting sick. Keiko's having a seizure or something. And he's like, Keiko, oh no, her heart stopped. And then she wakes up. She's like, no, Miles, you don't tell anyone. If you do, I'll stop her heart forever. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Dun, da, da, da. Dun, da, dun, da, da. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, da, da, da. Dun, da, da, da. Dun, da, 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 da. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, da, da, da. Dun, 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 dun. Da, 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 da. Springtime, says Professor Brainy Specs. We need bigger kittens. I don't know what that was about. And he's like, if you're really in control of my wife's body, let me speak to her. She's like, she can hear me. She can hear you. He's like, not good enough. I want to talk to her. And Keiko's like, you're in no position to bargain, Miles. Strange, these corporeal bodies. So fragile. Burst even a tiny blood vessel in the brain. Memories are gone forever. Says, you really shouldn't let me eat all these chocolates by myself. He's like, just tell me what you want me to do so I can get it over with. But let me make one thing clear. I won't do anything to jeopardize the station or the people on it. Keiko says, don't worry. I just want you to reconfigure some of the communication and sensor relays. He says, why? She says, I can't tell you. So they just left Molly alone in the quarters? Just leave Molly behind. Dan23 says, I had this episode on VHS tape when I was younger. She's like, I know you're just playing for time so you can get to your friends. She's like, they might let you do it. They might, until they find some way of catching me in some sort of stasis field. She said, you know what? You might work. You might be able to stop me. But if you do, Keiko will die. I promise you that. All I need a split second to cause a massive brain hemorrhage and she's gone. She says, I know this is a difficult adjustment, but we don't have a lot of time. O'Brien says, what do you want me to do? I ask, how long is this going to take? He says, in order to keep the polarity check invisible to security, you have to tap into some integrator on level 5. Keiko's like, you're an engineer. Miles, she's like, Keiko says, what do you want to ask? You're always tighten your lip whenever you ask a question, something only a wife would notice. He's like, why Keiko? Why not me? He's the one who can do the work. He'd be more efficient. That's a pretty good question. Why not just take control of Miles? Bashir says hopes he's not interrupting. And O'Brien says, yes, you are. We're busy. Keiko is being nice. Says, oh, it's all right, Julian. I forgive you. She's like, you're coming to the party tonight, aren't you? And he's like, I guess it's not a surprise anymore. Oh, whoops. Yeah, surprise party tonight. Brian says it's okay. He doesn't like surprises. So Bashir says he's got to go. He left the patient on the operating table. Ha ha. How funny that must be. And he's like, a party tonight? She's like, it is your birthday. Like, we can't host people. We got to cancel. She's like, and raise suspicions? It's better if the dinner goes on as planned. Besides, Keiko went on to a lot of trouble to arrange it all. Says, you better get back to work. You don't want to be late for your shift briefing, and she's got a lot of cooking to do. What cooking? You just sent from the replicator. Get me a birthday cake and whatever. A rack of ribs. And Ram comes in. Diagnostic and repair technician, junior grade, reporting. He's on the swing shift for a day or two. Duarte is sick as a vole. Is this where Duarte sits? They're all looking at him. What are you drinking? They all drink Ractagino. He's like, is that what we drink on the swing shift? It's like, you can drink anything you want. So Ram goes and gets a Ractagino from the replicator. He's like, we don't drink Ractagino on the night shift. I don't really drink anything. Oh, Brian comes on the video phone. Says, change of plans. Ram is volunteering. He loves phase shifting reconfigurations. O'Brien says he'll do it himself. Everyone else concentrate on new inertial couplings. All 64. Need to be done today. Ram, you alone do the upper pylons. Everyone else is in a team. And O'Brien's working alone. He's very busy. Don't interrupt him unless it's an emergency. Springtime says, what's so hard about Americans need bigger kittens? Make American kittens bigger again. Macba. Understood. Chrono says, it's Ram. And now O'Brien is talking to the computer. Chrono says, soy boys are fragile. So he's running a medical scan on Keiko from the middle of like a Jeffries tube. It's definitely Keiko. How long would it take for a stasis field to render her unconscious? 2.1 seconds. That's a long time. Oh. What if anestetine gas was used? 1.4 seconds. Yeah, what about a phaser on stun? 0.9 seconds. Really? It takes almost a full second to knock someone out with a phaser? O'Brien says, God help me. What if 2 phasers were used? No, Ram's not an idiot anymore. Ram got smarter as the show went on, says Kronos. Absolutely, he did. So, what's her face? Kira's just not going to be in this episode, I guess. Keiko's really outdone herself with this dinner. Cisco says Caparo is a very time-consuming dish. They're singing for He's a Jolly Good Fellow. Happy birthday and yay. Happy birthday. Keiko kisses him. Jake tells him to make a wish. He blows out the candle. He wishes that he had his wife back, obviously. Oh, Keiko's got single malt Irish whiskey. Neat. And Molly wearing her purple shoes for him. He's like, all the food is at the table. Just relax with your friends. This Keiko. O'Brien says he wants to talk to Keiko. It's like, not right now. We've got guests. Dax was late. She was afraid she wasn't coming. And Dax said, oh, you were serving Caparo. I wasn't going to miss it. I don't know if that's a real dish. And Cisco says, you look a little preoccupied, Chief. Is everything okay? And he's like, yeah, something I forgot to tell Keiko. Excuse me for a moment. So Jake is asking, did you see any Pah-wraith? He's like, in the fire caves. Keiko's like, what do you mean Pah-wraith? He's like, don't tell me you believe in wraiths. And Odo says he might have heard some creatures, heard the legends of the creatures, but he didn't say he believes in it. And Jake wants to say next time she goes to the fire caves, maybe he can come along. He always wanted to meet a Pah-wraith. And she said, maybe you will one day. Kind of foreshadowing the episode Reckoning, where Jake is in fact taken over by a Pah-wraith. O'Brien's having a conniption. He broke a glass and he yelled and he's like, are you okay? And he says he's all right. And he's just getting older. You know what happens to people when they get older. They get angry. Keiko comes in and says, get a hold of yourself. He says, I've done everything you asked me to do. Just give me back my wife. She's like, you've done well. But recalibrating was only a test. I had to be sure I could trust you. Tomorrow, the real work begins. Now it's time to get back to the guest. Don't want to raise suspicions. Son of a bitch. He thought he was done. He's just beginning. This was just a test. Carlos says Ram was always a smart bird of prey. He fixed hollow sweets with a fork and spatula. He just wasn't confident. That is also true. So it looks like everybody left. She's like, the Caparo was a huge success. He's like, look, no more tests or games. Just tell me what you want done. She says, we'll talk about it in the morning. It's late. Brian wants to talk about it now. Keiko says, I make the rules. So I guess this is really no different than when Keiko isn't possessed by a Pah-wraith. O'Brien says he'll sleep on the couch. She says, don't be childish. What if Molly has a nightmare and comes running in? You'll sleep in bed with me just like you always do. Okay, he'll be there in a minute. She's like, don't be too late. You got a busy day tomorrow. Computer. the record of all Bajoran letters concerning the Pah-wraiths. Really? Right outside the bedroom you're doing this? There's over 6,000 or whatever records. Yeah, it's too much to listen to tonight. Keiko's already, she could hear him. She's like, Miles, come on. So Miles now has a suspicion that she was taken over by a Pah-wraith. Miles won't even face her to sleep. I don't know if it would be considered cheating. Oh, in the morning, he forgot that she is Pah-wraith. And he looks at her. And for a second, he realizes, then he realizes what's going on. She smiled at him. She says, another weakness of you corporeal life forms, your need for physical intimacy. He's got to get Molly ready for school. She's like, she'll do it. Molly's going to sleep over at Dave's. It's like, that's not wise. Molly needs her mother. She'd be lost without her. She's like, I'd never do anything to hurt your daughter unless you forced me to. She's like, these are your instructions. Follow them precisely. They're on a pad. Carlos says, was she staring at him all night or did she sleep? It looked like she was sleeping early on. So O'Brien wants to know where Cisco is. Cisco's in security. So O'Brien's headed over that way. And he sees Cisco and Odo walking out of the security. And there's Keiko. Oh, Keiko fell off the ledge. Keiko fell off the ledge of the promenade onto the floor below. No, nobody saw anybody near her when she fell. She was passing under the walkway. He had the back toward her. Cisco says, what were you doing on the promenade? Weren't you supposed to be working somewhere? He was going to Replimat for lunch, says O'Brien. Bashir said, a fall from that height could easily have killed her or left her paralyzed. Really? A fall from that height in the 24th century, a single-story fall, could have left her paralyzed? I don't believe it. I really don't believe it. But according to Bashir, she was lucky. She fell the right way. So O'Brien is going to go talk to his wife. I mean, that is a pretty big fall to make. Oh, she's pissed. She's like, you were going to tell them about me. She's like, how did you know? She's like, I know everything your wife knows. And she knows you. We've got to trust one another. You violated the trust. I want my wife back. She's like, then stop trying to fool me. How much more damage do you think this body can take? No more tricks. Agreed, she says. Say it. He says he agreed. And he knows what he needs to do. He should get back to work. He says he's got 30, he'll do it all in 36 hours. She says you have 13 hours and not a minute more. He says, I can't do it that quickly. And she says, you're a very resourceful man. You'll figure out a way. For Keiko. Tell Molly Mommy will be home soon. Tell her she's fine. Don't scare her. And it says, give me a kiss. Because there's another random security officer watching. Not the most believable kiss, but a kiss nonetheless. Josh reads his bird of prey. Yes, it could, just as you, after all the crashes from orbit, you stopped walking away from them. Now you're having orphans carry you away from the crashes. Worf, I heard about the accident. Wanted to know how Keiko was. Says if there's anything I can do, Brian says, I wish there was. He's got to get going. He's falling behind schedule. I think this is Worf's only real part in this episode. Time remaining 8 hours, 22 minutes. Man, he wasted a lot of time. Oh, Ram comes in and yells, Chief. Scares him. Like, Ram, what are you doing here? He's reporting for his next assignment. He completed the calibration test on the inertial couplings all through the upper pylons. He's like, already? And he's looking it over. Yeah, he did. Huh. Ram's pretty good at this stuff. How'd you finish so quickly? He's like, I just did the work. I didn't allow myself to get caught up in side discussions that the other workers engage in. You can be very focused when no one bothers to talk to you. He's used to being ignored. He says, I can walk slower if you want me to. Okay, so Chief O'Brien says, Ram, you need your help. I need you to keep your mouth shut. He's like, is that a trick question? He's like, no, you can depend on me, Chief. They're going to make some modifications to several of the station systems. And you're not supposed to breathe a word of this to anyone. That includes Dax, Odo, Captain Sisko. And Ram says they don't know. And he's like, of course they know. Some of them do. But they have to pretend that they don't. This is a top secret Starfleet operation. And he's like, yeah, culpable deniability. Don't worry, his lips are sealed. No one will get anything out of him, not even his name. And he's like, everybody at the station knows your name. And he's like, right. But he won't confirm it. Aravik Sander with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Aravik Sander. Says, Jolan True Bird of Prey. Hope you're having a good one. Thank you, Aravik Sander. Jolan True. Or Qapla, as I prefer. But next week, if you're around, Aravik Sander, we're doing a very special Trials and Tribulations in HD. So if you're at all available, I hope to see you there. Springtime says, just tell the truth. Miss O'Brien is your dream woman, Mabka. She's not terrible, but no, not my dream woman. Oh, now Dax is calling O'Brien. She wanted O'Brien to look at something. She woke up at 3 a.m. to scan the wormhole for anomalies. She was using the wideband filtering protocols. And in the primary calibrations check, she found some nonsense. He's like, oh, they're slightly off spec. She's like, I thought it might be a fused matrix or something. She ran a level 3 diagnostic. She's like, we better wake the captain. We have a saboteur on the station. Aravik says, sounds good. Awesome. So they got the captain up. He's like, what do we got? And Dax says, Chief, we've identified 943 trinary fluctuations in several power distribution junctions. Fluctuations that can't be attributed to anything except external factors. So Sisko says, someone's gained access to our systems and altering it, but for what purpose? O'Brien says, at this point, it's hard to even call it sabotage. There's been no real damage. They don't seem to pose any threat to the station so far. And Sisko says, so far. This could just be the tip of a very large and dangerous iceberg. It's like, is there any way to trace who it was done and by whom? She's like, somebody who worked on the station under the Cardassians, maybe, says Dax. Odo ran checks. Someone who's been on the station a long time, someone with a lot of access, maybe even someone on the maintenance crew. O'Brien's looking out the window. Yes, what? He's like, do you think it's someone on your staff? Oh, Chief O'Brien, I got a call from your daughter, saved by a call from Molly. I wonder if the Pah-wraith was able to tell what was going on. Oh, Mommy told me I could call her. Call you. I hope I didn't interrupt anything too important. I'm glad you called. What are you doing home? She missed her mommy. Oh, when are you coming home? Oh, she pulled her hair. She's like, ow, Mommy, that hurt. She's fine. She just wants to know when you'll be finished. I said you have another 2 hours and 22 minutes and 13 seconds. Soon. You'll be back soon. You'll be home soon. Very soon. Keiko's like, good, we both miss you. Uh-huh. That's a reminder, you gotta get back to work, Chief. Yeah, he says everything's fine. Sorry about the interruption. He's like, I think I know who the saboteur is. He thinks he has an idea. It's time to turn in Rom. And Odo is there. And Odo picks Rom up. He's like, hello, Constable. He's like, hello, Chief. And Odo's like, what are you doing, Rom? He's like, I can't talk about it. He's like, oh, yes, you can, and you will. And Rom is looking at O'Brien, and he asks if he's coming, and O'Brien says they better wait and see what he was doing here. So they leave O'Brien alone, so of course he can continue doing what Rom was finishing. So Rom is refusing to answer any questions in his typical Ferengi way. Even Odo can't get anything out of him. Has he said anything? He said, not much. The first 40 minutes, it was pulling teeth, even getting him to admit his name. Cisco says, do you think he's working alone? Odo says, Rom says he wants to see Chief O'Brien. He won't talk to anybody else. He said, oh, then get the chief down here. So they're calling Chief down to security. He's still trying to find out what Rom's doing to systems. Odo says, I'll have to wait. He's got captain orders to get you down here immediately. And he says, okay. 36 minutes. Rom is in security holding. He's like, initiate security override and scramble the channels. O'Brien, whatever. Okay. And he's like, begin recalibration of gravimetric panels. He'll be back in 10 minutes. So he knows he's shutting off the video, the camera system, basically. He says alone. He'll only talk to O'Brien alone. So Odo walks out. And now he waits for the door to close. And he says, what is it? He says, it's okay. I've disconnected the eavesdropping devices. He's like, I haven't told anyone anything, just like you said. He says, you're a good man. Well, why'd you call me? I told you it was on very tight time, sir. Says Cisco seems very angry. If I didn't know he was pretending. He's like, don't worry. I won't say anything. But I have to know. Why are we focusing a chronoton beam at the wormhole? He's like, what? He's like, the new frequency of the director grid. And it's going to turn the station to a massive chronoton array aimed directly at the wormhole. So why are we trying to kill the wormhole aliens? And oh my God, the look of horror is coming over O'Brien's face. He didn't know what it was. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, a chronoton beam is harmless. He's like, to us. But its temporal disruption would kill a wormhole alien instantly. And O'Brien says, of course. Why didn't he think of that? He's like, she's got me so on edge I can't see the forest through the trees. Rom's like, who is she? He doesn't have time to explain it. He's like, no one, who would want to kill the wormhole aliens? Everybody has enemies, even the prophets, says Rom. He's like, that's right. They're not just wormhole aliens. They're prophets. Part of Bajoran mythology. Just like the Pah-wraiths in the fire caves. What if those wraiths got to do with wormhole aliens? And Rom knows Casa Moran. It's a Bajoran legend from Bajoran Kas, meaning to be, and Moro, meaning vanished. Lita's been talking to her about Bajoran legends. She's a good listener, she says. He says, now would be a good talker. Talk. According to Lita, the Pah-wraiths used to live in the wormhole. They were part of the Celestial Temple. They were prophets. They were false prophets, says Ron. They were cast out of the temple, exiled, or into cages, or they were imprisoned in the fire caves, and forbidden to ever return, lest they face the wrath of the true prophets. So they wouldn't be welcome to return to the Celestial Temple unless she kills all the wormhole aliens first. It's like, Rom, I'm going to have to leave you in a tough spot. He's like, Captain Sisko and Odo don't know about any of this. He's like, yeah, no, they don't. And I want you to help me keep it that way for a little while longer. He's like, I have to stay here and play the idiot. He's like, I'm afraid so. He's like, and no matter what Odo asks you, Rom says, I'm Quark's brother. I know what to do. Springtime says, in real life, Dr. Bashir got Kira pregnant. Their baby and her pregnancy because of her husband, the good doctor. Kronos is a chronoton beam. Yeah, chronoton beam. And now Odo realized that it is in fact O'Brien who is behind it. A couple things are still bothering him. Rom couldn't have done all this sabotage. There's too many changes for any one person to make. O'Brien says maybe so. He's had a frequency problem in the Cascade feeder. He checked the repair logs. He was hoping to match someone's movements to where the alterations were made, but he couldn't do that. He's like, yeah, we had a matrix systems failure. Those files were lost. Says, we had a lot of system failures, haven't we, Chief? Brian says, I haven't noticed. I've been too busy repairing things. He's like the surveillance channels in the holding cells. You authorized the security override. He's just making shit up now. He's like, you didn't cover your tracks very well, Chief. Why? You didn't have time. You still don't. Oh, and he turns around and just punches Odo in the face. Knocks him out. Good thing Odo's human now. He can be knocked out with a punch of the face. Chief O'Brien to Keiko. He finished. We have to move quickly. Going to be swarming with security. Meet me at runabout pad C. Like, how did I know you want to runabout? I'd want to run about. He's like, because I know what it's about. I know what you're trying to do. He's like, don't care about your celestial temple and your feud. I just want my wife back. So he's like, so stop arguing with me and just meet me there. She says, agreed. That's correct. He's going to lie about he wants to test something. Dax. Dax, I know. Did you enjoy your birthday? He says it was full of surprises. Good. Those are always his favorite. Kronos says, wow, you couldn't knock out Odo if he wasn't a human. That's true. A computer initiate modifications, O'Brien, 7 whatever, and enable comlink. And now the station is being charged full of electricity, visible electricity. Target the center of the wormhole, says Keiko. Target coordinate sense. It's like, have us face the temple. They'll all be dead before they even see it. She's like, you have no idea how many centuries she's waited for it. He's like, let's get on with it. She's like, you've got a lot to learn about patience. Proceed. And Cisco is ordering him to return to the station. Activate. And he activates it, and the beam, oh, it hits the shuttle. It hits the runabout. And it's taking a lot more than a second. But it's acting on Keiko. Oh, Keiko is getting zapped like crazy because of the Pah-wraith inside of her. If it can kill a prophet, it can kill a Pah-wraith. And he's Keiko. And hey, it's Keiko. Keiko's alive. She's back. He saved his wife. And now Odo is looking at him, and they all want to know what's going on. And he's like, Chief, you have some explaining to do. And O'Brien's smiling. He's happy. She's like, Keiko's like, it was like having something coiled around in her head. She could see and hear through it. But anytime she tried to do anything, it was like being stuck in sand and squeezed. She's like, could you sense any of his thoughts? Just some feelings. A cold rage. You know, typical of any human. I don't think it had any intention of leaving either one of us alive. Really? Because it seemed to left Molly okay. I mean, what would it gain by killing off Keiko or O'Brien? It's breakfast time again at the bar. And Quark comes over and says, hello, brother. Says, you look horrible. He says, telling you, Rom, working night shift is bringing you to an early grave. He's like, I'm not on the night shift anymore. He's like, I knew it. You got fired. He's like, no, for appreciation. The chief has promoted me to the day shift. He says he has a promising future. And why you look so tired? He was out celebrating. With who? His crewmates. He's like, I think they like me. Especially Latana. She's always finding excuses to talk to him. Hey, that's probably not gonna go over so well with Lita. Quark says, hey, I'm glad things are going so well for you. He's like, I know you don't really believe that, but thanks anyway. He's like, I guess you'll be wanting the chief special. No. He discovered Bacon doesn't agree with him. He'll have a short stack of pancakes, dripping with butter, a side of sausage, and pineapple. Pineapple. He's like, that's the breakfast of choice for the day shift. Quark says, fine. Kronos says, ugh, I could be Negus. You want to be Negus? If there was one position you could have in all of Star Trek, you would want to be Grand Negus, Kronos? Carlos says O'Brien spent 12 years in prison for what he did. Rom only spent 3. Yeah. Anyway, that's the episode. Kronos says, yeah, power play. Kronos is dun 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 dun. Josh Street says, Vertebrae, Rom sounds like Kira with that order. You know what? He kind of does. He kind of does. The Random Menace says, why do Ferengi eat the most American breakfast? American. Because American breakfasts are the way to go. Even in the future. Kronos says, if Biden can be president, I can be Negus. I didn't say you couldn't. I just surprised that would be the position you'd want compared to, you know, I don't know, Federation president, Starfleet admiral, weapons dealer. You know, you could own your own moon. You could be a member of the Orion Syndicate. There's a lot of options. Wouldn't Negus be the richest, says Mama Pray? I guess it would be close to the richest. I mean, money doesn't have the same meaning in the Star Trek universe. Yeah, it does the Ferengi, but you can't buy a sovereign class starship, no matter how much Ferengi money you have. You can just order one to take you around if you're an admiral. Kronos says Garfield in space. Kronos says he has the lobes for it. Carlos says, so they both sabotaged the station, obstruction of justice, murdered and assault on a security officer. No, there was no murder. And nothing happens to them, Vertebrae. Is that normal? Well, it is in this case, Carlo, because they were, you know, O'Brien was being blackmailed into doing this stuff. And Keiko was possessed by an alien who was later killed. So Keiko can't be held accountable for the actions that took place while her body was possessed. And O'Brien, by legal standard, I forget the Latin name of it, but basically it's that which is necessary is legal. So if somebody, and this is an extreme example of preposterous, but it's an extreme example. If somebody came into a school and wired up an entire classroom to explode, and, you know, had a detonator, and said, I'm going to kill this entire class if you don't go rob a bank for me. And you go rob the bank successfully and bring the money to the guy, and so the guy lets the class go. Technically, what you did is still legal because it was the lesser of the two crimes. That which is necessary is legal. And you saved numerous lives by committing a crime, but that was the lesser crime to commit than letting, 20 people die. So it is a legal, valid theory. It's legal in U.S. courts. It's very, very rare that it's ever invoked because, it just doesn't happen that often. That's the reason for it. And even less so when it does happen, generally, the prosecutor wouldn't bother to prosecute in that case because they know it's a kind of an open and shut case. So they wouldn't be charged. They would just they would walk free. Kronos says my bank robbing days are over with. Springfield is again going with Qapla, Make American Kittens Big Again, or something like that. John Street says Bird of Prey, so it's the plot of that Die Hard movie with Samuel L. Jackson. That's where they, yeah, well, kind of, where they stole the money from the Federal Bank of New York, which, by the way, Die Hard 3, my favorite Die Hard, and we are going to watch that for Cinema Saturday this summer. It is a summer movie, so we're going to wait for a nice hot summer weekend, and we'll be doing Die Hard 3. Probably just a month or two away. Paolo Albanese says, so if I was being forced, it's okay to commit a crime. Thanks, Bird of Prey. I'll send you some money next week. About £2 million, if that's enough. Hey, I'm not forcing you to do anything. Bradley Briggs, so what Bird is saying is killing 20 orphans slaves, so people don't find out you own 100 of them is legal. No. Chrono says, make angry kittens bake asparagus. I don't think that's what Qapla stands for. NB Geeks, let's talk, says Bird of Prey. How is Garfield going to get on DS9? Who will give him lasagna? They'll beam him in. They'll beam him into the lasagna pit. It's not often seen. I mean, we didn't see it during the DS9 filming, but one of those pylons is in fact full of lasagna. So he could just be beamed into the upper lasagna pylon, which is directly above the meatball pylon. So, you don't have far to go to choose. Springtime says, BNN breaking news. Bird of Prey is under investigation by the FBI with a radio commanded by Mamo Prey. With a raid commanded by Mamo Prey. I don't think so. Dan 23 is coming this summer to Saturday Cinema. Die Hard 3. Carlos says, oh no, some person said that if I don't go rob a bank, they will kill themselves. So I have no choice but to commit this crime. I'm so scared I have to do this. See, that's a lot tougher of a question. That's why I went with a much harder to argue about, school class. Carlos says, wait, does the person need to have a parasite inside them to get away with it? You'd have to speak to a lawyer about that. In Karoga, the parasite wouldn't be necessary, but in other states or federally, I don't know what their laws would require. Josh Reed says, Bird of Prey, it looks like Garfield thinks DS9 is a dish of lasagna, and Garfield is the Unicron of Star Trek. Could be. Space Kissing Air says, this episode would have been better if Keiko wasn't in it. Poor Keiko. Okay, guys. So reminder, next week, Trials and Tribulations, my favorite Star Trek episode of all time, will be will be streamed in stunning HD quality as a tribute to the greatness that is this episode. And I hope you guys can all come back and enjoy it with me. Obviously, a week away, I have no idea what the time is going to be, but I will aim for the earlier 4 p.m. time rather than the later 5 p.m. time. There's probably no reason I'll need to do it so late next week. But God knows, God only knows. I mean, Jesus Christ, what could happen in a week? But that's the plan. Also, remember, this Cinema Saturday is, well, it's a good question. Armageddon. This Cinema Saturday is Armageddon. And then The next Cinema Saturday is where did I put it? The next Cinema Saturday is Real Genius for Commodore Ty's birthday. And I believe I have for the following Saturday, it appears like it's going to be Revenge of the Nerds. 1984 Revenge of the Nerds. But I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. Yes, next episode is a great episode. What do we got going on here? Carlos has praised the Soup Jedi Bill. Enjoy a good brew, Captain Track. And as always, hail Karoga. Hail Karoga. Springtime says Bird of Prey, Mamo Prey. You need to keep Bird of Prey safe by making American kittens big again and from the FBI. Deej says the internet will crash before next week. I hope not. Josh reads says next weekend will be streamed on the Bird of... No. Kronos says Tribulations was okay. Kronos! Trials and Tribulations was awesome. The Random Menace of Bird of Prey, you were aiming for 4 today. You failed. Well, then I changed it to 5. I was aiming for 4 yesterday, but then this morning I changed it to 5. Deej says, it's my birthday, not Ty's. I think it's both your birthdays. Or pretty close to both your birthdays. Wait, Commodore Ty is the 20. Wait. Saturday, the 24th. Wait, is Commodore Ty's birthday the 20th or the 24th? I don't know. Deej, is your birthday the 24th or 20? I think Deej is the 24th. It's going to be your 50th, Deej? Yeah. Yay. Congrats. Deej is the 24th. Okay. Well, very cool. I will sing happy birthday to both of you, or whoever's birthday it actually is. Commodore Ty asked for it for his birthday. Made me believe that day was his birthday, but if it might be just that week, it's his birthday week, whatever. We'll figure it out. And yes, Anti-Tracker is the 20th. That is, I'm aware of that. And the 20th was the day I was supposed to get my vaccination, but since Johnson & Johnson is on hold, I have no idea if it's going to still happen or not. And Deej Thomas Potts is the 25th. Yeah, it's a very, very busy week of birthdays. No, Thomas is the 25th. The Random Menace is Bird of Prey. Ty and Deej are both on the 24th. Okay, so then Commodore Ty is not the 20th. Somebody said on Anti-Tracker's channel that Commodore Ty was the 20th. Carlos's Deej Odyssey has everyone's birthday written down. That would be the smart thing to do, wouldn't it? Write down the birthdays.
I'm close.
Mama Ray is pretty close in her head, she says.
I know the weeks.
She knows the weeks. Yeah, I know. And it's just more fun this way. Deej has memorized Carlo. He's got it memorized, it says Deej. Carlo,
I forgot again.
Carlos says Thomas Potts will be 25. Wow, he's young. No, he's not going to be 20. Anyway, guys, thank you all for coming and watching the assignment. I will be back next week. We'll all be back next week, hopefully, for DS9 Wednesday. tomorrow, I think I plan to stream at some point during the day. I maybe get a video out. I don't know. It depends how lazy I am. And I will talk to you all soon. Thank you all, and Bird out. Thank you all for watching my video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Without it, you won't get notifications of new videos. Check out BirdoPrey5.com, the new home of everything BirdoPrey5 on the web. You can also check out my forum at juot.net. I'm also on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. If you'd like to make a donation, check out paypal.me/BirdoPrey5 or on BirdoPrey5.com. Take care.